Welcome or welcome back to A Game of Fangs and Thorns. My name's Hannah. This is my November TBR / update on my self-destructing TBR video. The reason why I say it's an update is because I'm carrying over a couple of books from October that I didn't get up to, and then because my list runs from, I think it was May to May or June to May, either way, I'm about halfway through that, so we're just going to catch up with what we're going to read the books that I didn't get to in October and then try and update this list. So the books I didn't get to in October are The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. This is my book I'm about to start reading as I'm filming, and basically this follows January Scala, who is the ward of the wealthy Mr. Locke. She feels no different from the artifacts that decorate his mansion, carefully maintained, largely ignored, and utterly out of place. But when she finds a strange book, one that tells of secret doors of love, adventure, and danger, for the first time, January realizes she can escape her story and sneak into someone else's. And Christina Henry, who I do have a few books from, but you can't quite see them, has blurbed this saying, "A gorgeous, aching love letter to stories, storytellers, and the doors they lead us through." And I did quite like the Once and Future Witches, I think she called them. I did quite like that one. And then the other physical book is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. When Amira is apprehended at a supermarket for kidnapping the white child she's actually babysitting, her employee Alex resolves to make things right, so begins a crash course that will upend everything they think they know about themselves, each other, and the messy dynamics of privilege. So, they are the physical books I have yet to read. And then, because somehow I didn't read as much as I thought I did, so I still have I have 4 books left on the TBR, 2 being physical, 2 being Kindle. One of them is The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, which is the sequel to The Name of the Wind, yes, which is a adult fantasy that is massive, following Korth, who is recounting the story of his life to an unknown narrator. And I can't quite remember much more about it, and I obviously can't tell you too much because Wise Man's Fear is a sequel. Then the other book is Flames of Chaos by Amelia Hutchins, and let me just get this up on the Kindle app so I can tell you a bit more. You can tell I never plan these videos before I actually sit down, can't you? Alright, so this is book 1 of 5. And I'm not sure if I like this anymore. But basically, epic fantasy with a heavy love-hate situations with adult situations. But Arya and her sisters return to the human realm of Haven Falls to find one of their own has gone missing. Soon discover that things have changed and nothing is what it seems, including Knox, who is the egotistical, self-centered, frustratingly gorgeous man who has declared himself king. Sparks fly when Arya and Knox meet. She learns that she's more than just a witch in the Hecate bloodline. She's so much more. Knox has ulterior motives for being in Haven Falls and never expected the little witch to show up and brazenly challenge his rule. Supposed to be easy, get in, get out, move pieces into place and set the stage for the war he's been planning for over 500 years. Arya is his sworn enemy, but something within her calls to him, and he hates himself for it. So, that is a long synopsis, and I'm still on the fence with if I'll actually enjoy this one, but you never know. So those are the 4 books that I am carrying over from October. The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, Flames of Chaos by Amelia Hutchins, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, and The $10,000 of January by Alex E. Harrow. But we like a challenge, so I have my backlist TBR lists here. I know for a fact I'm going to read the last middle grade on this list, which is Wildspark by Vashti Hardy, and it's over there, and I can't be bothered to go get it. But from what I remember, Wildspark is a bit of a steampunk video. No, not video, book, but it should be a quick read, and I have enjoyed Crowfall by the same author, so I'm got good things for Wildspark. I do think it is a series, but I'm not 100%. And I can't tell you much more because I can't be bothered to go get the book. But that is a definite on the TBR. So when I get to reading it, you will find out. But then in terms of the rest of the list, I have it broken down into young adult and adult. And then also broken down again into series and standalones. So I have something on my lip and it is bugging me. We'll move on as much as I can. So, moving down the list for the young adult series, we have Aurora's End by J. Christoph and Amy Kaufman, the conclusion to the Aurora series, which follows Aurora, who is a stowaway on a ship. Basically, I'm sorry, I cannot remember names, but basically our captain is set to graduate with highest honours at his training academy in space, but on the day of his graduation he intercepts a distress signal and nobody else believes him, so he goes off alone, saves the girl, saves the ship, but is left to pick from the dregs to get his crew. And then what follows is trying to get this girl, this stowaway, home, or at least to safety, because it transpires that she has been in cryogenesis for a very long time and is the last of the original Earth colonists. She's also called Aurora and everything's named after her. Then we have The Merciless Ones by Namina Fauna. This is the sequel to The Gilded Ones, a story of female empowerment where in this tribe, if your blood runs red, you are pure. If your blood runs gold, you are not so pure and are sent to fight in this war, or basically live a life of trying to be killed every so often. Our main character obviously chooses war and finds out that she has always been lied to, and obviously The Merciless Ones is the sequel to that. Then we have The Gifts That Bind Us by Caroline O'Donoghue. Again, a series that I can't talk too much about, but I know that it started with All Our Hidden Gifts and deals with disappearances, tarot, magic, and then our main character is Maeve. She finds some tarot cards and gives a very accurate reading prediction that causes her best friend at the time to disappear, and it's a story of finding out what happened to the friend, honing powers, and then getting that friend back, maybe. And Gifts That Bind Us is a sequel to that. A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. That does have an incredible cover. I just can't be bothered to get them. And from what I know, that one, it is a queer love story between a man who inherits a title that he didn't want and isn't supposed to have, and his magical counterpart who doesn't trust him. Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco is the sequel to All Our Wicked? No. It's the witchy one. It's the twins witchy one with the the Prince of Hell Wrath. and need I say more? Ember in the Ashes, Sabah Tahir's start of her quartet, following a Marshall-inspired fantasy where a scribe, I think, infiltrates a training camp because she is a slave. I couldn't tell you, and I think now I'm just going to read out the titles that are on this list because it'll take forever. So Ember in the Ashes, we have These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. I think that's a fair book. Beasts of Prey by Ayana Gray. That one still sounds intriguing. That one is a Naitsu. Our female character lets them out. The male character has to stop them, I think. The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. Epic fantasy, maybe? Traditional fantasy? King of Scars by Lee Bardugo, which is the first in the new series following Nikolai after the events of Crooked Kingdom, which I could do with doing a reread of, actually. The Order of Darkness by Philippa Gregory. Technically, I only have one book left in that because I have the bind up, and that is a historical fantasy where the lines between fantasy and religious superstitions are blurred. Dawn Study and Night Study by Marie Schneider, the last two books in the Chronicles of Ixia series, which was a favourite growing up. And then we go back into young adult standalones. Now this may have changed since I made this list. But we have In the Ravenous Dark by E.M. Strickland, After Love by Tanya Byrne, which I think I still have, but I'm not 100% sure if I kept it or if I got rid of it. But I think that's the vampire ghosty one. Little Thieves by Margaret Owen, The Ivory Key by Akshaya Raman, Win, Lose, Kill, Die by Cynthia Murphy, which I think was supposed to read for Aurelian, but never mind. Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor, Blood Scion by Deborah Fillet, and The Beckoning Shadow by Catherine Blair. Now, these are just the books I have left to read. I'm not pushing myself to say I have to get to them because November I have a wedding, not my own, but I have a wedding weekend to go. Well, it's like a wedding on the Saturday, but it'll be a whole weekend. And then the week after the wedding is Panto week, and I have no transport because some tour rag stole my bike and the buses are off. So while I'll be off on that week, I'm probably going to be stressed about how I'm getting to places. So we shall see how that ends. But basically, right, so for adult standalones, we have The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tacholke, The Last House on Needle Street by Catriona Ward, Velvet Was the Night by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, Malibu Rising, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I do have another Taylor Jenkins Reid book, it's just not on the list. Mrs. Death by Selena Godden, The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Circe made me cry, so I'm not looking forward to that one. Well, I am and I'm not. Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, Pandora by Susan Stokes Chapman, Descendant of the Crane by Joan He, Girl A by Abigail Dean, Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Girl Woman Other by Bernadine Evaristo, Such a Fun Age, which is already on the list somewhere, The Binding by Bridget Collins. I did like her other book, that was very good. The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow, which I've already talked about, and Reputation by Lex Croucher. Although I think that's now a series, but we shall adjust as needed if we have to. So, for adult series, we have The ABC Murders by Agatha Christie, Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, which is a massive book, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get to that one. Witherwood by Hannah Matthewson, Jade City by Fonda Lee, Malice by Heather Walter, The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman, which is just that whole series I'm expecting just fun, cozy mystery vibes. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon, Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart, Rage of Dragons by Evan Winters, Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness, Foxglove Summer and Lies Sleeping by Ben Aronovich, but I think I'm missing the book in between those two. Conjuring of Light by V. Schwab, and The Day Watch by Sergei Lukianenko. Now, that is not an exhaustive TBR list for this month. This is my overall backlist TBR, self-destructing TBR, whatever you want to call it. So, let's just see how many of them I can get to. Like I say, I think I'm probably going to concentrate on finishing off some series. So Wildspark doesn't count because that's a middle grade. But I'll pop that one on the list because it's a middle grade. It should be quick. But Aurora's End finishes the series. The Merciless One catches up. The Gifts that Bind Us catches up. Dawn Study, Night Study finish the series. If I can finish The Order of Darkness, that finishes the series. King of Scars starts one, but it's a continuation. Kingdom of the Wicked is the sequel. So you get where I'm going with this. I'm going to try and finish off some series before starting some new ones, which is a shame because a lot of fantasy books are series. But that being said, that's the end of this very rambly video. And let me know what you've been reading. Let me know what's on your immediate TBR, and let me know what's on your backlist TBR. You know, those books that you really should get to, but you just don't. And I'll see you in the next one. So with that, give this video a like if you like it, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see this, talk about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.